This episode of the New Hampshire Business Show is sponsored by Everlasting Capital. If you're a small business and you need money and a bank won't give it to you, Everlasting Capital is here to help. In as quickly as a couple of days, you can have the funding your business needs for new equipment or anything else you need the capital for. So submit your application today and see how they can help you out. Hello everybody and welcome back to the New Hampshire Business Show. My name is Chris Bashon and today we are here with Russel Breck of Elegance In Stone. How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about your business today. What do you do?
Well, I am a countertop fabricator, solid surfaces, granite, marble, soapstone, limestone, engineered products, typically called quartz. And I've been doing it for about 18 or so years.
Okay. So why this field?
Right around 2000, I was in the Highline car business and became good friends with a fellow who was in the granite business.
Okay.
Between the Mercedes SLs and the boat that he had, I thought, well, it looks like a nice way to make a living.
Okay.
And the car business was very toxic. So I kind of followed him into it, worked with him for a little while, kind of cut my teeth. Mm-hmm. Went to work for another company for a little over 10 years, and about 5 years ago, I bought an existing company that had been in business since 1993. That's February of 2014. Mm-hmm. So here I am, shop located in Merrimack, and trying to make a living.
That's pretty good. So why the move to purchase an existing business? Because that's an interesting point. Some people just start their own.
Yeah.
They always feel the need to start their own.
Sure.
Why purchase one?
Well, serendipitously, I found out that this business was available to purchase.
Okay.
And I thought it good to buy an existing business with the equipment and all of that. It is a costly business to start and run. I have a CNC machine, digital bridge saw, and had I gone to source a location and buy the equipment and all that, I think I would have spent more money.
Yeah.
So I just kind of assumed control of this business and doing it that way.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So I totally understand your backstory because I used to sell cars too.
Yeah.
And what is it like? Everyone understands how bad the car industry is. Like
it can
you
be,
just
yeah.
you say that and it's like, yeah, okay, I got you. Like getting out of that's pretty boring.
It was. I'm about as honest a person as you can meet.
Yeah.
And I got tired of being lied to.
Yeah.
You know, I try to represent my clients' interests. We would buy cars all over the country, mostly high end. And sometimes it would come off the truck and I would say, wow, that's not what you promised me.
Yeah.
I can't sell that to my client.
Yeah.
So I just got tired of it. I wanted to do something different. This is a little creative. I do a lot of work in high-end homes and restaurants. So it's fun. It's creative. It's exciting. People are enthusiastic. It's not a need. It's a want.
Yeah.
So that's fun. People want it and they want to do it. So I enjoy that part of it.
Okay. So let's get into a little more on your business. So what is it exactly you do? You said like granite countertops, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So what is it? What's the difference between that and what you typically see in the kitchen?
Well, typically, builder grade or the stuff that most of us grew up with are laminates, Formica. They're not quite as durable. They're not as attractive. Granite. I would guess late 80s, early 90s became fairly popular. It was very, very expensive. Costs have come down considerably, and they're attractive, they're durable, there are wild color variations. You can get simple and elegant. You can get wildly variegated patterns with blues and oranges and golds. And if you go into many a high-end house, that's what they'll have.
Yeah.
You won't go into $1 million house and it won't have laminate for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. That's pretty cool. So you do a lot of residential work.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying?
Yeah. Primarily residential, but I do commercial restaurants primarily.
Okay.
I was just brought back yesterday to do another project for a restaurant called Sansi on Newbury Street in Boston. We've done multiple projects for them. We also did a project for them at Fenway, Game On at Fenway. That's exciting and fun, but primarily residential. And we travel all the way from the Cape and the islands up to southern Maine.
Okay. Pretty cool. So it's better than the car industry. I'm taking it so far. You're liking it more.
I enjoy it very much compared to the car industry. Yeah, and being my own boss has a different type of stress.
Yeah.
Stress of making the bills, making payroll, keeping the lights on, and all of that. But I treat myself and my guys fairly.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you have any issues when you first came on? Because the old boss probably would have had a way of going about doing things. Then you come on, and you probably have a different vision for where you want the company to go. Was there some growing pains there?
There was a little bit of a transition.
Yeah.
I'm pretty particular about how I like things done.
Yeah.
I don't like cutting corners. I don't like creating something that has to be fixed in the field. I like to have everything come out of my shop perfectly,
Yeah.
or as perfect as it can be. So there was a little bit of a growing pain. I think they were a little bit into kind of, oh, well, the installer can fix it when he gets to the house.
Okay.
And I don't like that. In many cases, things have to be fixed in the house. But I want to do as best we can in my shop.
Yeah.
Controlled environment.
Yeah. Like, was it measure twice, cut once type deal?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Make sure you're doing the correct work.
Especially with this. It's not like bringing in a piece of wood where you walk it in and think, oh, I can take another 16th off real quickly. It's difficult to work with. It's hard to move. You don't want to move it as much, or you want to move it as little as you can.
Yeah.
You don't want it breaking.
Okay. So someone comes to you and they want to purchase, a countertop set. What's the process kind of look like?
I can meet them at their house if they'd like. If they're replacing existing tops, I can measure, find out what they want, discuss what kind of resonates with them, different patterns, colors, and all of that. Usually I can give them a fairly quick, rough estimate right off the bat. In new construction, sometimes, the customer, instead of starting in their home, will go meet right at the distributor and look at full-size slabs because there are wild differences. A small sample is not going to be indicative of the slab as a whole. So we'll go and we'll look at slabs at the different local distributors. Sometimes designers are involved. That usually starts the process. Once we've selected a material, I give them a quote based on what they want. And then we can work on layouts. Some materials will have those wild patterns, so how you cut it will make a big impact in how it is presented in the house. Sometimes there are things people want to avoid. Some want to showcase certain things. I can digitally do a layout, take a picture of the slab, put it into my computer, and move the pieces around digitally, email them images with the way the seams are going to line up so they'll have a better idea. For some people that aren't too visual, that's very helpful for them to understand what it's going to look like in their house.
Yeah. Are most of the jobs, kind of similar? Because I'm assuming one countertop is the same as another one, or is it vary a lot between each house?
It can vary a lot. Typical construction where a lot of the houses are similar, you'll see a lot of similarities. Usually it's just a matter of, are the runs longer or shorter depending on the size of the kitchen. But how you cut it, especially with material that is wildly variegated, it can look very, very different.
Yeah.
And then we get up into custom homes, which I do a lot of work outside of Boston and Wellesley and Weston and Chestnut Hill and Newton, where no house is alike. The kitchens can be quite huge.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need 2 slabs to do just the island alone.
Wow.
So the layout becomes really, really important.
Yeah.
And you want to kind of see their vision and help them attain it.
Yeah. So let's talk about. I think I had another guest on. This was like last year before, sometime like that, and they, similar to what you do, except all they do was they build the marble and the countertops and stuff, and then they give them to the contractors to do the work stuff. So it's pretty different.
Okay.
But so we kind of got into the differences in the actual material, because some people don't realize you're buying essentially a rock.
Yep.
And you gotta, the process of finding the right one can be kind of a pain.
Well, there are some great distributors in New England.
Yeah.
And some of them are quite large, 80,000 square foot warehouses. And that can be intimidating to some people, which is why I try to narrow their focus before we go there.
Yeah.
But there are many different stones, whether it be a granite, a marble, a material called quartzite, which is more marble-like in appearance, but it can be stronger than marble as far as durability. But yeah, it's there. Some of them are very difficult to work with. You have to be very, very careful. They're prone to breakage. A lot of the beautiful veins in some of these materials can be weak spots, so you have to be very cognizant of that. But I try to educate all my customers as to what they're buying so it fits into their lifestyle. If they have young children and they're going to leave juice boxes and things on the counter and nobody's going to see it for hours and hours, then maybe a light colored marble is not for them. Maybe you go towards a granite. Darker granite tends to be more forgiving. They're denser. Or the quartzes. Quartz is a blanket term for engineered product, taking about 95% actual quartz, real stone, but they're mixing it with epoxy and colorants and fillers to make the slabs. And those are quite durable.
It's pretty cool. There's a lot to this industry, and every time it comes up, you think it's pretty straightforward, and then when you actually get into it, you're like, oh man, there's a lot to it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, there can be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
You know, it's exciting being able to pick different materials for different parts of the house. You know, especially when you're working with designers and a new build where they have a certain look for the kitchen. They may have a butler's pantry, a wet bar, and they want to have a certain look, and it changes throughout the house. And some of these houses may have 4, 5, or 6 bathrooms, and a different theme or different colorway in each one. So that gets really exciting.
Yeah. So you might have said it earlier, I'm not sure, but do you tend to only focus on the countertops? Like, if someone comes in and asks for a bathroom, are you only doing like the vanity type thing, or can you do the entire bathroom restoration as well?
Primarily the countertop.
Okay.
Recently, I've started working with a company that has 3 different cabinet lines. Usually, I'm involved after selections are made, as far as cabinetry contractors and all that. But occasionally, people might call me and say, "Hey, you did my last house. We're building again. What can you offer us?"
Yeah.
So I'm going to dabble in that a little bit to see if I can do something. And I'm only going to do it if I can truly help my customer.
Yeah.
I don't want to do anything just to do it. But as far as the actual construction and plumbing and all that, that's not what we do.
Okay.
Yeah. I recommend a licensed plumber unless you want us to flood your house.
Well, that's good. You know, you have your lane and you're really, really good in that area.
Yeah.
So it's like your specialty.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I'm very fortunate that the guys that I work with are really good. You know, we have a very good reputation that I am painfully aware of and work very hard to maintain.
Okay. That's pretty cool. So where are you looking to take everything in the future? Are you looking to grow, kind of keep the company the size it is?
I've seen, in the time I've been doing this, I've seen companies grow. And they do a higher volume. They don't necessarily make any more money.
Yeah.
They spend more in equipment and in labor, and it ends up being more headaches. I think my focus, and I'll preface it by saying, whatever I can do to help a customer at whatever budget. It's very important for me, and it doesn't matter if it's in a very modest home with a very modest budget. If I can help them achieve what they want and still make a reasonable profit, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But I find that the higher end projects, they're more interesting, they're more exciting, there's more profit in it.
Yeah.
And I'd rather do a handful of larger projects where I can still give exemplary customer service than have to do 20 smaller projects. I don't want to be pulled in too many directions. I want to be able to spend one-on-one time with the builder, the contractor, the designer, or the homeowner. Be able to do layouts, help them select slabs, and I wouldn't be able to do that as much if I had to do a large quantity of jobs.
Okay.
And I think my customer service would suffer a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to ask that question to a lot of businesses because everyone has a different answer.
Yeah.
Some of them it's easy to scale, and some of them it's not.
Yeah.
You know, because labor alone is a pain.
Yeah.
You know, so just trying to find the man force to be able to do that type of work can be a struggle.
Finding quality people has always been very difficult,
Yeah.
and once I find them, I like to keep them.
Yeah.
Same thing with my contractors. You know, finding good quality contractors, I want to make them happy because they're important to me. There are times that you fire people, whether they be employees or contractors, because you can't meet their needs or they're too difficult. And I really believe in putting good out, and it's hard to have all the good if things are difficult.
Yeah.
I think if you put good out in the world, good comes back.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. So how do people get in touch with you, learn a little more?
Well, I've got a company website, eleganceinstone.com. which takes seemingly an act of Congress to change pictures and to update. So that stays fairly basic. But I have a company Facebook page, Elegance In Stone, on Facebook, and I also have a page on Houzz, which is a website, HOUZZ.com, which a lot of people in the trades, designers and builders, utilize to showcase their work. So I use that heavily. I can add pictures when I get them. And both Facebook and Houzz has a forum where people can leave reviews of the work that we've done, which is nice because most people shop nowadays, if they're like me, with reviews. You want to look before you spend your money. So they get to see pictures of the work we've done and read reviews, and I find that to be very important.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope everyone had a great time. Reach out if you need some custom work done in your house, and I'll talk to you all next time.